All right, we are back. Uh, Hold on, let me check the audio settings. Yes, sir, we are live. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you can do us the biggest favor and hit the like and subscribe button. Sorry for the late start. Not feeling overly the best, a little under the weather uh, this evening, but appreciate all of you hitting the like and subscribe button, trying to keep the show going. That's what happens when you are a one-man band. But the news of the day is Kyle Whittingham going to be the next head coach at the University of Michigan. Did not think Michigan would go this direction, but it is what it is. Their administrators there felt that Mr. Whittingham was the best candidate on the market, which I don't disagree. I think Michigan's going to have a tough, gritty personality. Some people may disagree with that. Kyle Whittingham was at Utah for the better part of 20 years. You never heard his name. Every now and then you would hear his name come up for big jobs, and it was always dismissed. And I guess Michigan is going to go that direction pretty much after the Sharon Moore debacle. With everything that went on there, this coaching cycle has been, how do I want to say, pretty eventful. You had the Lane Kiffin stuff kick off in the fall. You had James Franklin get fired. You had a lot of interesting moves out there. You would think that it would kind of quiet down, but not really. That's pretty much the landscape of college football right now. If I can try to get some of the contract details for Kyle Whittingham, I believe Pete Thamel tweeted those out. Wow, another defensive lineman transferring from Colorado. Kyle Whittingham's deal. It's going to be a 5-year deal, averages $8.2 million over the course of the length of the deal. Pete Thamel and Dan Wetzel reporting that the deal is 75% guaranteed. He's expected to make $8 million in 2026. The Whittingham stuff moving kind of fast here. I find that interesting, to say the least, but the Utah people kind of, I don't know if they're upset, but kind of interesting, to say the least. I think it's fascinating that he decides to resign at Utah, take the Michigan job. I think Kyle Whittingham's a hell of a coach. Now, how well that will transfer over to Michigan, I think that'll be, I think the jury's going to be out on that for a little bit. Also, former Buckeye Dallin Hayden, reportedly going to transfer from Colorado. I think that's of interesting note, because I would not be shocked if he doesn't get a high dollar amount in the transfer portal. I think it's kind of fascinating, to say the least, that Dallin Hayden transfers from Ohio State to go to Colorado, and then I wouldn't say he had a bad Colorado career, but I don't think it was going to be as lucrative as what he thought. And he decides to hit the portal. Kyle Whittingham hits the portal. Very, very interesting. A lot of news about Matt Campbell. People writing a ton of stuff about him as well. And then Verdell Brown III, Florida wide receiver, comes out and says he's re-signing with Florida today. So I think that's a bit interesting that now we have to announce people were re-signing, but how about, kind of in my opinion, just say you're not going to hit the transfer portal. I don't think that's a hard thing to do, but I guess I'm not a PR specialist. But at the top of the show, Whittingham agrees to a 5-year deal. And then JMU's quarterback is hitting the portal. Would not be shocked if he ends up at UCLA, to say the least. I think for the most part, I called it in here a day after Moore got canned. I said Whittingham was going to be the dude. I meant Dillingham, but I am counting it. Throw Dave's here up there. Yeah. I think on the Michigan side of it, I think that for the most part, I think that they turned the program over to a guy that's going to stabilize it. Whittingham's probably going to bring in his people. I think the Michigan/Utah defections are going to be interesting. How many people does he take with him from Utah to the Michigan, transfer portal, so on, so forth, what have you. Also happening to Dan Mullen, his quarterback is entering the transfer portal as well. Kind of shocked that Mullen lost the kid, but then again, he had a big time year, so there's no semblance of the kid staying. Also, Minnesota extends their bowl game winning streak to like 7 or 8 years. I think that they have they won in overtime today against New Mexico. Also Northwestern with a convincing win over the MAC. Also coming up tomorrow, Georgia Tech, BYU. And then we're going to be 7 days away from the college football playoff games kicking off. It kicks off with Ohio State. That's kind of where we're at. Trying to get some more details on the Whittingham stuff. I thought Jed Fish was going to be the guy that they went out and hired because of his quarterback expertise. Kyle Whittingham, 66 years young, 21 seasons at Utah. Utah says he's taking the best coaches from Utah and BYU. The Mormons are coming. Oh yeah, I think Whittingham, it's going to be an interesting hire. He's 177 and 88, including a 13-0 season in 2008, 66% winning percentage. Biff Poggi comes out on Twitter, makes a statement and says Michigan football is in great hands under Kyle Whittingham. Michigan interim coach Biff Poggi posted on X proven winner, true gentleman, through the nose, Michigan coach of days gone by. So there is that. Kyle Whittingham replaces Sharon Moore. Also, a little more Trinidad Chambliss stuff. Him seeking a 6th year of eligibility. I don't know how that necessarily is going to shake out. I would typically lean towards Trinidad not getting the extra year, but I guess we'll see how it all shakes out. But also on another Michigan note, they have Texas coming up in a couple of days. I think it's going to be interesting to say the least. Also, Penn State kicks off at noon. LSU, Houston, in the Kiners Texas Bowl. Penn State taking on Clemson. And then kind of the jewel of the bowl season that has been the Pop-Tarts Bowl, BYU taking on Georgia Tech. Quite a few games on Saturday. Virginia, Missouri also going to be out there, but there's that. I wanted to hop on real quick and do the Kyle Whittingham thing. Even though I'm kind of up against it for time. Appreciate everybody watching. Typically we don't do this short of a show, but appreciate everybody. We're almost at the halfway point here, so there is that. UTSA is taking on FIU right now, so we'll let everybody get out of here. Enjoy your Friday night. Appreciate everybody, and we will see you tomorrow. I think we're going to do a watch party, so there's that. Everybody have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow night.